It's time to learn how to draw faces on...
Welcome to How to Draw a Face. By the end of this video, you should be able to draw Albert Einstein. But first, I want to talk to you about faces in general. So here's my face. And when people go to draw a face, the first mistake they make, so I'm going to show you the right way to draw a face and the wrong way to draw a face. So the wrong way that most people do is they create a circle. But my face is not a circle. My face is more like an egg shape. So I'm going to draw like an oval. Like an egg. That's the right way to start. Now, when we look at the face, first of all, faces are symmetrical. That means that if you divide a human face in half, it's the same on both sides. So I recommend you start with a line right down the middle, a vertical line, because if you don't, you could end up putting everything all in the wrong place. Now let's look at where the eyes are. If you look at the eyes, and we draw a line there, and you look at the overall oval of the face, it's right in the middle. So make another line right in the middle. These are our guidelines, and this one is for the eyes. Let's keep looking at the face here. We've got the eyes in the middle. Let's look at where the nose is, and let's look at where the mouth is. Look at that. It's almost perfectly divided into thirds. So I'm going to make a line here, and a line here. So I've got 1, 2, 3 spaces, just like that. Okay, so these are our guidelines. It's always a good idea to start with guidelines. Before I draw the eyes, I want to talk about the shape of the eyes. So the first mistake that people make is they might put the eyes too far up, and they might put them not lined up with each other. Okay, because they should be on the same line. The other thing they do, they make little dots, and that is how they do eyes. But eyes are not circles. Look at this. Eyes are football shapes. Okay, so an eye is a football, like this. The other thing that I want to point out is, look at the iris and where the pupil is. It's not a full circle because the eyelid is going over it. So you're not going to put a little eye in the middle. You're actually going to put, here's the whole iris part. It's actually behind the eyelid. Okay? And then the pupil is dark in the center. And if you really wanted to go all out, the iris is shaded. We should leave a little area for a highlight. So that's what an eye looks like. Eyelid is always covering part of it. So when I go to put these eyes on here, I'm going to make sure that I've got football shapes and 2 curves for the eye that goes inside. The eyelids are on top. But look at the space. Let's look at the space between the eyes. Well, that looks like the size of one eyeball. And if we look at the space on either side of the face, we've got half an eyeball. So the entire face is 0.5, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4. The entire head is 4 eyes wide. So I'm going to start with an eye in the middle, an imaginary one, to help me kind of space this out, to put my 2 eyes on either side. Football shapes, take that one out. So now they're the right size and the right space. They're on the correct line. I'm going to put my 2 little curves to represent where the eyes go. Pupils right in the middle. Darkening the top eyelid. There's correct eyes. Now let's talk about noses. okay? Because noses are not a circle and they're not a triangle. And people can get really detailed. There's a lot of YouTube tutorials that say start with the ball of the nose like that and build a cone, and then start to build your nostrils outside of that, and then add some shading like this, and let's put the little area between the lips right there so you can start building your lips. But you don't have to get that detailed. You don't have to do that. All you need, seriously, is just a very shallow letter V. If you've got that, you've got a nose. You can get fancy with that letter V, and you can add some nostrils like this, give a little bit of definition. You can if you want. The letter V is fine. Let's talk about the mouth. Mouth goes on this line, but look at the mouth. I'm going to draw a line down from the center of my eye. Believe it or not, no one believes this. The corners of the mouth line up with the center of the eyes. So I'm actually going to put the guideline here and here. That's where the corner of the mouth should be, so that you don't end up putting it over here where it does not belong. I'm looking at my mouth. My mouth is open. I'm kind of smiling. So I'm going to put the bottom of the mouth like this. I'm going to put the top of the mouth like this. I'm showing some teeth. Now, a lot of people freak out about the teeth, and they'll draw like every tooth. And that's scary to me. Don't do that. You could just have a triangle because that's the overall shape. Now let's talk about ears. Everybody wants to do little letter C's and make their ears look like that. But these are not a letter C. Let's look at these. They go up, they kind of wiggle, and they come back down. So they're a squiggly shape, but they're longer than a letter C. But look at where they line up. Top of the eye lines up with top of the ear. Bottom of the ear lines up with that space between the nose and the mouth. So my ears, when I put on this face here, they should go like that. Okay, that's a proper size for ears. So I've got ears, eyes, nose, mouth. Now I need to add eyebrows. And eyebrows are different for every person. Eyebrows should be symmetrical. They follow a curve. They're thicker in the middle, thinner on the ends. Now, if I want to make this look like me, I've got a little goatee here. I wear glasses. I recommend you should always draw the glasses last. Always draw them last, because they distort the face. But here's what I know. I know my glasses are two rectangles connected. I'm putting them right over the eyes like that. Here's my glasses. I'm going to finish the overall shape of the head. Just get darker now because I'm happier with this. I need the hairline. Let's look at the hairline. Let's study it. For me, it is a round curve, kind of straight at the top. Comes down like this. I've got some spiky hair, so I'm going to put some spikes up. I've got dark hair, so I'm going to color it in. I'll put some marks for the spikes. There I am. I can go through and erase my guidelines, and I am pretty happy with this face. Now, I could have went super detailed if I wanted. You want to see that? Okay, I'll show you that. I'm pretty happy with that. However, you don't have to go that detailed. This is fine. This one's good. So now let's give Albert Einstein a try. And here's why I've chosen Albert Einstein. Because it's okay if you mess up, because he looks goofy anyway. So let's review. Let's make sure that we are putting in our guidelines. Now this one is a little tilted, which is interesting. So vertical line, face is symmetrical, halfway through is the eyes, thirds make the mouth and the nose. But his face is turned, so you're going to see one ear, but you're not going to see the other one. Okay, so this is what's called a 3/4 view. So let me start with my egg shape. Here's my egg shape. Now notice, his face is turned. So the middle of his face is over here because his eyes are looking that way. They're looking that way. Well, they're looking at you, but his face, his nose, okay, is facing that way. So I've got my line for the eyes, breaking this up into thirds. Eyes, nose, mouth. The ear, since this face is turned, is a little lower because the face is round, it's turning. So the ear is going to go down here. There's the ear. Let's see, looking at the nose here, we have a very big nose on this guy, very big. Very big nose. He's got weird, short little, he barely has eyebrows. They're like little squares. Remember, we need football-shaped eyes. Football shapes. His eyes are looking that way. They're looking to the side. So even though his nose is facing this way, his eyes are going that way. Remember, his eyelids are partially covering his eyes. He's got a mustache. It's a big one. I'm just doing little marks to give it some texture. Look like hair. Here's his bottom lip. He's got crazy hair, so let's make that hairline like that. And then boom, let's get crazy with the hair. This is Albert Einstein we're talking about. Crazy hair. Crazy. Because he's a genius. He's a crazy scientist. Now I'm defining the chin. And he's old, so you gotta put some wrinkles in there. He's got the forehead wrinkles. Now let's get rid of all these guidelines. Throw in some details. There you go. Good old Albert Einstein. Don't forget, before you turn in your work, you should always sign it. And you should always put the date. That is everything I could possibly teach you about drawing a face. Thank you for watching.